two of the deadliest hunters in the American West, met over a single hole in the ground. One had claws that could crush bone and tear through solid earth. The other had speed that could run down almost anything alive. Everyone who knows these animals expected the same thing: a vicious fight, and one of them walking away, and the other one not walking away at all. But that's not what happened. What happened instead was so strange, so unexpected, that scientists spent years trying to explain it, and people who watched it with their own eyes could hardly believe it. This is the true story of a badger and a coyote, two natural enemies, one freezing morning, and a choice that neither of them was supposed to make. Stay with me, because the ending will change the way you see nature forever. It began on the open plains, in a sprawling town of prairie dogs, thousands of them living in a maze of tunnels beneath the grass. To a hungry predator, it looks like a feast laid out on a table. But it's a cruel illusion, because the second any danger appears, every last prairie dog vanishes underground, into a labyrinth no ordinary hunter can follow. Into this town walked a coyote, lean, sharp-eyed, ribs just beginning to show through its coat. It had been days since a real meal, and the coyote knew this place was a trap dressed up as a banquet. It could chase, it could pounce, but the moment it got close, the prairie dogs would drop into their holes and simply be gone. The coyote had learned the hardest lesson of the plains. Out here, being fast is not enough. And then, across the colony, the earth itself seemed to explode. Dirt shot into the air in great arcs. Something powerful was tearing into a burrow, not creeping around it, but ripping straight down into it. The coyote stopped and stared, because whatever this creature was, it could do the one thing the coyote never could. It could follow the prey underground. It was a badger. Now, if you've never seen an American badger up close, let me tell you what the coyote was looking at. A low, heavy, muscular body built like a battering ram, a broad head marked with bold black and white stripes, and a pair of front claws like curved steel, claws that can dig faster than a man with a shovel. An American badger doesn't chase its dinner across the plains. It goes down into the dark and drags its dinner out. The coyote crept closer, drawn by hunger, hoping to snatch anything the digging might scare loose. And the badger noticed. It heaved its striped head up out of the hole. It locked its small black eyes onto the coyote, and it let out a low, rattling hiss, a warning in a language every animal on the plains understands. Come closer, and you'll regret it. This was the moment, the fork in the road. Two hungry, dangerous animals, close enough to touch, each fully capable of hurting the other. Every rule of the wild said this should end in teeth and blood. But the coyote did something no one expects a wild animal to do. It didn't attack. It didn't flee. It sat down just a few feet away, and it waited, calm, patient, watching. And that single quiet decision reveals just how clever this animal really is. Because in that moment, the coyote had understood something it would take human scientists decades to prove. It had realized that this badger, this rival, this enemy, was actually the missing piece it had been searching for its entire hungry life. Here's the secret. Think about what each animal can and cannot do. The badger is a king underground. Those unstoppable claws let it dig straight into a burrow and chase a prairie dog down through the tunnels. But down there in the maze, the prey has dozens of escape routes. Again and again, a prairie dog will slip past the badger, scramble up a hidden back exit, and burst out into the open plains, where the slow, heavy badger has absolutely no chance of catching it. The badger does all the hard work and watches its meal sprint away. Now think about the coyote. On the open ground, it is pure lightning. Nothing that size can outrun it in a straight line. But the instant a prairie dog dives underground, the coyote is finished. It can dig a little, but not like a badger. It can wait, but the prey knows better than to come up. The coyote stands over an empty hole, its dinner mere feet away, hopelessly out of reach. Do you see it now? Each hunter's greatest weakness is the exact place where the other hunter is strongest. The badger loses the ones that run. The coyote loses the ones that hide. But together, there is nowhere left for the prey to go. The coyote couldn't put that into words, but it could feel it in its bones. So instead of fighting, it made a silent offer to its enemy. You dig them out, I'll catch the ones that run. And warily, grudgingly, the badger accepted. The badger dropped back into the burrow and dug like a machine, dirt flying. Below the surface, a terrified prairie dog bolted through the tunnels and shot out of a far exit into the daylight, straight into the path of the waiting coyote. One clean pounce. A meal the coyote could never have caught on its own. And the badger won just as often. Every prairie dog that spotted the coyote up top and dove underground to escape ran directly into the badger's claws. The runner guarded the surface. The digger owned the dark. Between them, the prey was trapped in a box with no exits. When scientists finally studied this partnership, the numbers stunned them. Coyotes that hunt alongside a badger catch far more food and burn far less energy chasing it than coyotes that hunt alone. And the badger does better too, cornering meals it would otherwise have lost. Two animals working as one, both walking away, fuller and stronger than either could ever be by itself. The fight had become a truce, and the truce had quietly become a team. In the days that followed, the two settled into a rhythm that looks to our eyes almost like friendship. The coyote would trot into the colony and actually search for its badger partner. When it found the gruff little digger, it would sometimes drop into a playful bow, front legs low, tail sweeping the air, like a dog begging a friend to come play. The badger, all business, mostly ignored the show, but it let the coyote stay. It worked beside it. And when the hunting was done, these two former enemies would sometimes rest near each other in the golden evening light, sharing the same quiet stretch of ground. Now let's be honest, this is no fairy tale. These two didn't swear loyalty for life. Their alliance is a deal of pure convenience, struck between two hungry animals who both worked out that cooperation beats conflict. Some seasons they team up often, other times they drift apart and go it alone. The badger stays a solitary, short-tempered loner at heart. The coyote stays a restless wanderer. And that is exactly what makes it so remarkable. Nature is usually a story of every creature for itself, of rivals fighting over every scrap. Yet here, on the open plains, are two natural enemies who could easily wound each other, choosing again and again to work together instead. Not out of affection, out of something even harder and wiser, the plain understanding that they are both better off side by side. The people who lived on these lands for thousands of years knew this odd pair long before any scientist did. In their oldest stories, coyote and badger appear together over and over, as partners, as companions, as two who simply belong at each other's side. They saw with their own eyes what modern biology only recently confirmed, that these two share one of the oldest working alliances in the natural world. So the next time you picture a showdown in the wild, don't only imagine claws and teeth and a winner standing over a loser. Picture this instead: a badger and a coyote, meeting as enemies over a single hole on a freezing morning and choosing, against every expectation, not to destroy each other, but to survive together. Because out here, on these harsh and endless plains, the smartest survivors have learned the one lesson we humans so often forget. Sometimes the greatest enemy standing in your way is really the greatest ally you never knew you needed.